Hello, superhumans. This week, we don't have an episode on a new topic, but we do have a very important message for you.
First of all, thank you for listening.
And, bearing with Dr. Garcia's Cuban accent,
What? ¿Qué te pasa, chica? ¿Qué estás diciendo?
hola, gracias.
And on that note, bearing with Dr. Wais rants.
Okay, so they're not rants.
It's a rant.
No. I am simply upset
Uh-huh.
sometimes and concerned about
So
the
you rant.
naming of certain things in the world of fertility. That's all.
It's called a rant. But okay, on a serious note, thank you for listening and joining us on this ride this year of starting the podcast. We want you to know that we do this for you. We know that you're out there, lost and confused, Googling things, trying to find information, trying to make sense of all the things that are being thrown at you at a time when you're feeling alone and vulnerable. So we do this because we wish we could spend hours and hours and hours with every single patient. We also know that there are many people that are not sitting in front of us doing a consultation with us. So we want to put this information out there to help you, to support you, and to let you know that there is hope and that there's treatments available to help you achieve your dreams.
We want fertility education to be not only shared, but shared with accuracy straight from the experts.
Now, going into this holiday season, we want you to keep a few things in mind. We know that the holidays could be very difficult for people who are struggling with infertility. It's a particular time of the year where family becomes front and center. You're gathering with your friends and family, and everybody's asking you intrusive questions about your family planning. And this can be extra difficult when you were hoping, there's many of you that were hoping that you would be pregnant at this time of the year.
On that note, we want to remind you that it's important to take care of yourselves through this holiday season. Although it's wonderful to get together with family and friends and to have, a full social calendar, it can be really draining. And so it's important to set some time aside for yourself and to set boundaries. So if seeing certain family members or seeing a certain friend is too difficult, give yourself the grace to recognize that and to maybe make different plans or to change your plans or cancel on plans even if it's going to be too difficult for you or if it's going to be too hard for you. That's okay. We are officially giving you permission to do that. Also, consider ways to take care of yourself and if you have a partner to also nurture that relationship as well as you're moving through the holiday season. Something that we talk about a lot is also working potentially with a mental health professional, whether it's a psychologist or a therapist, somebody that can be your sounding board and can be another form of support, can also be really helpful through the holiday season and all through the year as a way to help manage the feelings that you're maybe going through. Just remember that you can build a support network that can help you get through the holiday season and the new year.
At this time last year, Dr. Wais and I were talking about this dream of having a fertility podcast. Started recording in January. We launched our first episode in March of 2024. And here we are. Today, we're going to do a recap of what my fertility podcast has brought to you so far.
Our very first episode, episode 1, we started with a really broad question, but also the most common question that we get of why am I not pregnant? Then we moved on to learning about the menstrual cycles. We took everybody back to high school sex ed in episode 2. And then in episode 4, we talked about intercourse and sex and timing of sex and positions and lubricants. And that was a pretty fun episode to record.
Was fun.
We had Dr. Zenny, a fabulous endometriosis expert, join us to speak about endometriosis and its impact on fertility in episodes 3 and 8. Dr. Amy, otherwise known as the Egg Whisperer, joined us and we talked about egg quality in episode 5. And Dr. Chan did an awesome job of explaining the endometrium's role in conception in episode 11.
In episode 6 and episode 7, we talked about one of my favorite topics, which is lifestyle factors that impact fertility for both people with ovaries and people that make sperm. We had a deep dive into everything you need to know about prenatal vitamins and what to take while trying to conceive on episode 10. On episode 9, we welcome Christina Viro, a registered psychotherapist, to speak about the important topic of the various ways to cope with the holidays. In particularly, in that episode, we were talking about Mother's Day, but her techniques can really apply to any holidays or any situations that can be difficult. In episode 12, we met with Brandy Williams, a patient of mine who's a registered dietitian, and she joined us and talked openly about her own IVF journey, as well as the importance of gut health and nutrition on your fertility journey.
Yeah, that was a really great episode. And speaking of reliable resources and support, in episode 13, we were joined by the Oasis Fertility Support Network, a nonprofit organization run by those who have had their own fertility journeys and experiences and who really, truly, fully understand what you may be going through. We love this support network so much, and I'm so excited to do some events with them in the upcoming year. Episode 14 and 20 were all about IVF. And we have so many more coming up in the future about the details of IVF, so please stay tuned for those. On episode 15, we were joined by two of my very good friends, Jason and Daniel, who shared their beautiful story of two fathers building a family and all the milestones of their fertility journey. Episodes 16 and 21 were all about PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome. Again, I may have ranted a few times in those episodes. We talked about PCOS and the role in fertility in those episodes.
Episode 17 is a very detailed conversation about intrauterine insemination, or IUI. This is one of the most important conversations that we have with patients in our office, so we brought it to you on the podcast. Episode 18 is a very important topic with the recent legalization of marijuana in Canada, as we did a deep dive into the impact of marijuana on eggs, sperm, pregnancy, and breastfeeding. In episode 19, we had Allison share her tertiary story about building a family at age 43 with embryo adoption. And to complement this, in episode 32, we interviewed Beginnings, a private adoption agency that Allison and Markham Fertility Center worked with, to tell us about everything that you need to know about Beginnings, the embryo adoption process in detail, the cost, and more.
This next one is one of my favorites. On episode 22, we talked about egg freezing. What is it and who should consider it? Egg freezing has definitely increased in popularity over the past several years, and we talked about the differences in government-funded egg freezing cycles versus private pay egg freeze cycles, and some of the differences between clinics, such as having an anesthesiologist present at the egg retrieval to provide deep sedation, which is what we do here at MFC.
And the next one is one of my favorites. On episode 23, we talked with Renee Higgins, Instagram, the.baby.plan, and she shares her 4.5 years IVF journey. She talks about the power of social media and advocacy, and also talks about what it's like doing IVF when you live about 5 hours away from your fertility clinic.
Here at MFC, we have an amazing donor and surrogacy program. And I will definitely brag about it, and I will scream about it from the rooftops.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that one. You can rant about that all you want.
Very few fertility clinics have a specialized program for this, and it is led by the incredible, incomparable Stephanie McGlynn, our DNS program lead. And you can hear our interviews with her on episode 24 when we talked about donor sperm, episode 25 when we spoke about donor egg, episode 34 where we talked about gestational carriers, otherwise often known as surrogacy. All of these are extremely detailed and packed with information, and they really can give a fabulous overview of what a journey might look like if you're interested in building your family in any of these ways. Episode 26, we talked about body mass index, or BMI, and the impact of BMI on fertility and assisted reproductive technologies.
On episode 27, we interviewed Shania Bopa, a patient of mine who at age 25 decided to freeze her eggs and talked about it on social media. She has brought so much awareness to young women thinking about egg freezing and family planning. She is the do-it-all girl, and always talks about how to be strategic for your future self. Episode 28 is on the topic of fibroids and fertility, the various types of fibroids, and the treatment options available. And not to brag again, but I'm going to brag.
Please
because
do.
Here at MFC, not only do we have an amazing donor and surrogacy program, but we also have an incredible world-class genetics program, which is led by Diane Miles-Reid, who is currently the president of the Canadian Association of Genetic Counselors and one of our superstar genetic counselors. We interviewed Diane on episode 29 on carrier screening. On episode 30, she gave us everything we need to know about pre-implantation genetic testing for aneuploidy. And on episode 36, we talked about pre-implantation genetic testing for monogenic disorders, or short for PGTM.
Moving on to episode 31, we interviewed Rima Kiran, who is the founder of Choice Mom Coach. She spoke about her fertility journey and is proud to say she is a single mom by choice. On episode 33, we talked about the impact of decreased ovarian reserve, otherwise known as DOR, and how we manage it and how we think about it and different options for medications and protocols. On episode 35, we had Bianca share her 8-year IVF fertility journey with us. She also highlighted mental health awareness and the power and healing she finds in sharing stories. She's another testament to the importance of mental health through this whole process.
And now we're near the end. I can't believe we've done that much work in almost not even a full year.
I'm tired.
But we're going to do so much more next year. Watch. Episode 37 was a bit of a tricky topic to talk about as it pertains to the many reasons why unexplained infertility is so hard to explain. Trust me, when I say you can sense our frustration as fertility specialists, just listen to this episode. Talking about rants, this is a rant that I totally agree with. On episode 38, we welcome Carrie, who is happy child-free after infertility. Carrie openly shares her 8-year fertility journey with us and how she and her partner found peace and happiness living their life child-free after struggling so hard with infertility. It was truly an enlightening and inspiring episode.
And last but not least, for the year of 2024, on episode 39, we had a movie night.
Yay! That was fun.
It was. We watched the movie Joy, which can be found on Netflix, and we had an opportunity to talk about it and discuss it and basically just fangirl over it.
That's it. That is the summary of my fertility podcast for the year of 2024. Again, thank you so much for being with us. We started from 0 downloads to 20,000 downloads by the end of the year. You are our inspiration. We're doing this for you.
And of course, happy holidays. And I hope everyone has a safe and healthy and joy-filled holiday season.
Until next year, superhumans.
See you in 2025.